Hey there, Mr. Terry, your high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher X video. All right, we're back again with another Mitsi Studio video. And I think we're still on that quest to find a school-appropriate one I can show without having to mute or cut anything. And I love how it's kind of become the ongoing, like, joke in the comment section. People saying things like, insert timestamp, the search continues. Anyways, today's video is The Indestructible Soldier. Our original video is going to be linked down below. Make sure you're supporting the Mitsi Studio, guys. Make sure original videos are getting your view, your like, and of course, subscribe to their channel. And do the same thing over here too. Let's see what we got. All right, I don't know going into this exactly who is the character they're going to be talking about this indestructible soldier. You know, covering so much history, I've learned all kinds of stories about these guys in wars, you know, that like just couldn't die. So we'll see who we're talking about here. See what I can add.
The story I am about to tell you is a brutal one, but it also serves as an answer to the question, who is the most badass person to have ever walked this earth? Well, that answer isn't so difficult. It should be this guy, Adrian Carton de Wiart. Adrian was born in Brussels, Belgium on the 5th of May to an Irish mother and a Belgian father. His father, a successful lawyer, hoped his son would follow in his footsteps and achieve success in law as well.
Well, this would be very difficult probably to be indestructible because the Germans went in hard into Belgium as part of the Schlieffen Plan to get to France quickly, and they saw a lot of force.
When Adrian was 19, he attended Balliol College in Oxford, or so his father thought. In reality, Adrian was already scouting where he would fight his first war.
Was he going to fight for the British, though?
I, Sir Adrian Carton de Wiart, want to thank this video sponsor, Supremacy 1940, a free online PvP strategy game where you can choose a real country, to lead during World War I. Of course, I will stand with Great Britain. Keep your remaining eye open when fighting up to 500 other players in real time in games that can take weeks to complete. So much longer than it took for my badass to win the Battle of the Somme. Fight with different units.
There's so many games like this. Is this one of the
always nice. Choose your own strategy to engage in this battle and take over the world. One thing I really like is that you can switch between PC and mobile.
Strategy games are probably much better for World War I than World War II, just for the fact of like trying to do single, you know, first-person combat. If you want it to be realistic, in so many battles of World War I would just be you sitting in a trench.
15,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription.
World War II was so much more mobility. You know.
Only available for 30 days, so be quick.
There we go.
It wouldn't take long before he found himself embroiled in the Second Boer War in South Africa.
Okay, Boers.
In that moment, Adrian had a clear thought. I knew once and for all that war was in my blood.
That war is violent. A lot of people talk about that. So in South Africa, and again, a nation that had been colonized by the Dutch and the British and now has centuries or generations, I should say, well, centuries too, of colonization, brought a lot of these people of European ancestry into conflict with each other. The people that have been there for a long time versus the people that weren't. And that was a big deal, again, for the Dutch and the British. Got a lot of, I don't know if you call it war experience, but whatever. There's always that.
War was in his blood, for sure, for the sole reason he didn't even care which side he would join. If the British didn't accept him, he was prepared to join the Boer army. As it turned out, the British thought he was a cool guy. So
we also call those people mercenaries. They just want to fight and can get paid while they do it.
He joined their forces.
Who?
As it turned out, the British thought he was a cool guy, so he joined their forces.
Okay.
Not long after, he and a few other British soldiers attempted to cross a river. That idea turned out to be a bad one. They were spotted by a few Boer people and fired upon. Adrian was shot in the stomach and again in the groin. He had to be evacuated from the battlefield to a field hospital. After being moved back to England, his father found out what his son was up to. It goes without saying that Daddy was very pissed.
Aww.
Regardless of losing his cool, his father said, screw it, and he was allowed to continue his military career back in Africa.
That was his leg wrapped up, right?
Soon after his survival, he was promoted to corporal, but within 24 hours he was demoted again for threatening to bitch slap a sergeant.
Oh, one of these guys. All right, this already sounds like a guy that should be in a fat electrician video. I might need to tell Nick about this guy because he loves those guys that like threaten their authorities. So they get demoted, but then they end up doing really well. And then the government or the military is in this like innocuous position of like, gosh, this guy, he doesn't follow the rules or whatever, our system of structure, but he gets results done. What do we do with him? Perfect fat electrician video concept.
He might have better hit the sergeant to bitch slap a sergeant. In hindsight, he might have better hit the sergeant because for the next 2 years, Adrian would mostly battle boringness with the lack of action on the front. By the end of 1902, he was sent to India, where he suffered from the same lack of action. Although he could keep himself entertained to India, where he action on the front. By the end of 1902, he was sent to India, where he suffered. So
basically, the British Empire is just throwing them around all their colonies and putting down all of the conflicts from the locals. So they got the Boers, and now you're going to get, well, there's all kinds of Indian resistance forever.
From the same lack of action. Although he could keep himself entertained by chasing pigs on horseback while shooting them or piercing them with spears. While doing so, he fell from his horse, breaking a few ribs and an ankle.
Oh no!
In 1904, he moved back to South Africa, where he was promoted to supernumerary lieutenant, or whatever that means. After serving in the British Army for 8 years, he was formally naturalized as a British subject, swapping it for his Belgian nationality, which is a good thing, just in case you're wondering. A year later, he married Countess Friedricha Maria Caroline Henrietta Rosa Sabina Franziska Fugger von Babenhausen.
Okay, that sounds like the most aristocratic name I've ever heard of.
The eldest daughter of Karl Ludwig Fugger von... Oh, never mind.
Wow.
Someone's dad.
There's somebody that inherited their authority by generations of intermarriage of other nobles and aristocrats.
Married, things were looking better for de Wiart when World War I broke out. He was sent to Somaliland to fight the Dervish guerrilla army led by a guy nicknamed Mad Mullah. While cavalry charging a fortress on camelbacks, he was shot in the face 3 times. One bullet took out his left eye, one bullet made a hole in his ear, and another bullet double-tapped the same eye socket.
So again, my description of Mitsi Studio has been adorably gory.
Buggers. But he did get a medal for it, so it was not all bad news. By now, World War I was raging all over Western Europe.
Is he going to go to Western
Despite having only one eye, he was still looking forward to getting back into the action. During the conflict, he was wounded 7 more times.
Oh my God.
On one occasion, half of his left hand was blown off. The field doctor refused to amputate his hand, so he tore off the 2 remaining fingers himself.
Okay, is this one of those guys? Have you ever heard of these people that just have higher pain tolerance levels? They're just like born with it. Pain doesn't affect them that much. Is that what this is?
Maybe he just wanted to make a point. I mean, who can tell with this guy? During following battles, he was shot through the skull, which again did not kill him, of course. He was shot in the ankle, through the hip, and in his leg.
Wait, I'm trying to keep track now of all the ones. So Boer War, he got messed up, was at his leg. In Britain, when he fell off a horse, so he got broken up. Now he's in Somaliland, he got lit up, lost his eye, and now multiple shots in trench warfare. Are we hitting like the dozen mark now?
Bullet hit him again in the ear. Hopefully the other ear this time for symmetry purposes. By showing skilled leadership and undeterred bravery, he received the Victoria Cross.
Well, and just surviving.
The highest award for gallantry, which kind of figures. I mean, what else do you have to do? Most soldiers who returned from the front often kept silent about the horrors of trench warfare. That's if they were not shell-shocked or mentally disturbed already.
No PTSD.
Adrian simply just got on with it.
Dude, see, that's another thing. Mentally just different. There were some people, it's so crazy to hear these stories from wars that are like immune to PTSD, like completely immune to it. Even if they committed like horrific things or saw horrific things, it was still just like, well, that's just what happened, what we did. Whatever. I'm going to bed now.
For one, there were still plenty of smaller conflicts taking place all over Europe. Therefore, de Wiart could just look around to find another conflict to get involved in.
Okay, which one?
The newly independent country of Poland was fighting a war with Soviet Russia, Czechoslovakia, Ukraine, and Lithuania. That sounded like fun for our boy Adrian, so in 1920 he moved to Poland to help them kill some of their neighbors. While doing so, he moved from place to place by plane, which crash landed. Then he got on another plane. which also crash-landed. Probably de Wiart got tired of crashing all the time, so he decided to move around by train, which was then attacked by a Cossack cavalry regiment, resulting in a fierce firefight. While using his only hand to fire a revolver repelling the attackers, he fell off the moving train, but quickly managed to get back on it.
Oh my gosh!
After the Polish Wars ended, de Wiart decided to stay in Poland.
By the way, just like class suitability update, the cartoonish violence, I mean, I think a lot of that can kind of pass. I haven't heard anything has there been like naughty language or other naughty scenes so far? We might be okay so far, but there's still about a third of the video left.
The Polish people loved him, and they expressed their gratitude by giving him a big-ass mansion with a big-ass stretch of land with a bunch of wildlife for him to shoot at.
Oh, gosh. Now he's killing
With
animals.
so many years in active military service, de Wiart was promoted multiple times. He reached the rank of Major General. You'd think this would be a great time to retire from active duty, having achieved so much, without being very,
Don't tell me he's also going to fight World War II.
However, retirement does not include being shot at, so de Wiart quickly moved to England when World War II broke out. During the German invasion of Norway, de Wiart was transported by a short Sunderland flying boat, which was attacked by a German fighter, making the flying boat just a boat. While moving to their objectives, they came under heavy naval fire from multiple German destroyers. The mission, together with the whole British expeditionary campaign, was pretty much fucked by this time.
Yeah,
nevertheless, de Wiart managed to get back to the British naval base of Scapa Flow just before his 60th birthday.
Norway. I mean, Norway's going to keep resisting in there, but yeah, the forward sport's going to be bailing now. Norway's kind of cooked, but he's just like, so how old is he now? Because he's fighting like the Boer Wars, turn of the century. Now we're in the 40s.
Not a long time after the failed Norwegian campaign and his 60th birthday, de Wiart was reassigned to assist the Yugoslavian government with the German invasion in 1941.
Okay.
He was transported by plane, and yes, I can hear you think, this time the plane is not going to crash.
No,
except the engines on the plane stopped working, and his plane, well, also crashed.
Okay, is this also one of those things where, like, he's involved in all this, these violent activities, and everyone else is dying but him, so you actually want to distance yourself from him? It's actually bad luck to be around him. I'm kind of getting that vibe right now.
With the plane breaking apart underwater, de Wiart managed to escape the wreckage and swam towards the coast of Libya, which was controlled by Italian forces.
Right.
Soon after reaching the shore, he was captured by the Italians and moved to a special prison for senior officers. Basically a regular retirement home, but with steel bars and thick stone walls.
These places will get liberated, though, pretty quick.
Enough reason for de Wiart to team up with a few other prisoners to prepare their escape. After 7 months of digging a tunnel with one hand, de Wiart finally managed to escape the prison. After doing so, he tried to disguise himself as a local peasant to avoid detection.
He's like, yeah, I look like the Libyans, you know what I mean? He's got one hand and a poked out eye and all these battle wounds and probably some accent. Oh my gosh, dude, this guy is unbelievable. I've never heard of this guy. I can't believe I haven't seen more videos, or at least covered more videos about him.
This plan had a few issues, considering he was 62 years old, had a white-ass skin color with sunburns, wore an eye patch, and was an amputee that did not speak one word of Italian. Good luck blending in with the locals. Well, despite cheating death about 100 times in his life, de Wiart could not stop his inevitable capture.
Right.
In 1943, the Italians were secretly negotiating a surrender with the Allies and took de Wiart out of prison to help them out. Before putting him in an Italian tailored suit, he protested, saying, "I don't want to look like a gigolo. Apparently you can shoot this man a dozen times, blow off his arm, and pepper his body with shrapnel. Just don't put him in an Italian tailored suit, or you will hear about it." After returning to England, de Wiart was sent on a plane for a diplomatic mission in China. Weirdly
okay. Japanese are going to shoot him down.
enough, this plane did not crash for some reason. De Wiart's stay in China was relatively calm compared to his adventurous military years that preceded it. At some point, he was introduced to Mao Zedong and could not help interrupting the future Chinese leader during a speech. He basically told Mao that he was talking out of his ass regarding Chinese military operations against the Japanese.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had to stop during the Civil War there, but there were actually a decent amount of success that Mao's communists had against them, especially when you compare them to what they had versus like the nationalist government, which really controlled the status quo, military that they had there. But probably didn't like him because he's a communist, right?
Which Mao simply laughed a bit. It would be safe to say that could have turned out much worse for him, but again, it didn't. After insulting Mao and taking a shit on everything resembling communism during...
Well, we finally got the language that you can't get in there, but can I just like pause it just for a second, at that moment? He was kind of flipping the bird, but like he also, these guys they don't really have fingers. So like, can I get around this?
Didn't. After insulting Mao and taking a shit on everything resembling communism during his stay in China, de Wiart finally retired in 1947, but not before surviving yet another plane crash. When he was asked about his experiences during wartime, Adrian simply stated, "Frankly, I had enjoyed the war. And why do people want peace if war is so much fun?"
Yeah. This isn't a normal human. And I don't mean just like the physical parts that we were saying, if he has a high pain tolerance. The guy is warped. Gosh, he'd probably be a serial killer if he didn't have opportunities to go to war, right? So what's going on here? Is he Dexter?
Thanks again to our sponsor, Supremacy 1940.
All right, final thoughts. All right, this was an incredible story. I have not heard of this guy, and I do think I need to go and like I need to go contact Nick, the Fat Electrician, because this has all the elements of one of his videos. If you like these type of stories, you don't know who the Fat Electrician is. He mostly covers American figures, but this hits all of the things that he loves. The insubordination, but still had success. The the resilience this guy had. And then the icing on the cake was he was a hardcore anti-communist. And that fits just the entire like persona of Nick and his whole channel and what he covers there. So we might need to get this story to his attention. All right. But what did you guys think of this video? This again was pretty incredible, at least from the story. One of the less school inappropriate videos covered on Mitsi Studio so far. This might be in the lead for that right now. All right. But we'll keep continuing. Which Mitsi Studio video should I check out next? Let me know down below. Drop a suggestion. Best place is over on the Discord server, which is linked down below. The video suggestions channel there. That's my go-to, especially for videos that you guys are recommending. All right, with that, we'll see you all next time. Bye.